Hi everybody, and welcome back to Kevin's Upfront Opinion today. Now I decided to do this video because I watched that joke of a press conference that our wonderful Prime Minister did this morning. And I thought it was a bit of a joke, to be honest. I was bored out of my absolute mind, waiting for him to actually say something rather than the crap he came out with, to be honest, because that's what it was. I felt it was absolute drivel. So what the reality is, what do we actually know? So what we do know is that Donald Trump has threatened to stick 10% tariffs on the UK, France, Germany, I'm just reading the countries here, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Netherlands, and Finland by the end of the month. And if we still don't agree to what he says, he's going to stick us with 25% trade tariffs by the summer. Now, the one thing, and I mean this, one thing that Keir Starmer was correct on is a trade war nobody comes out well on at the end of the day. Affects our economy, affects America's economy at the end of the day. You know, so what can you actually realistically do? Now, I don't believe that we should be supporting um, America into invading Greenland. Okay. I don't believe that for a single second. I also don't believe the American people believe that they should be invading Greenland. They've got no rights to the land or anything. Now, I understand to a degree why Donald Trump wants to do it. I understand why he did it with Venezuela. Okay. Don't personally agree with why he did it for Venezuela. Personally, I don't. Even even though the regime wasn't the best one. Now, my problem with this is if we agree to support them on this, what about the next country and the country after that? When do you actually draw a line? And that's the problem when it comes to Donald Trump, in my view. Because as much as I like Donald Trump, I've always liked Donald Trump. Supported him when he was president the first time. And the main reason is that I've always supported him was because unlike virtually all politicians nowadays, politicians think about one person and one person only. Well, actually, it's two. One's themselves, the second's their party. Where when you look at Donald Trump, he's actually done what the people wanted. Which is why I always say that Nigel Farage is quite like Donald Trump. You know, Nigel Farage knows that people care about migration. He jumps on that. No different to Donald Trump. Knew that people weren't happy about the people that are coming across the southern border and all the crime, so he jumped on that and he managed to swing it to be an election winner. Okay, so from that point of view, that's why I've always liked Donald Trump. Now I've got to the stage of thinking he's lost his fucking mind. And eventually, somebody has got to stand up to him and say, you're off your rocker. You can't behave like this. You know, you're supposed to be the most powerful country, which I don't believe they are the most powerful country personally. And you're supposed to be setting a good example, not going around the world invading countries. And then you're complaining that you want war for peace and everything. And you've invaded Venezuela. Now you want to invade Greenland. My question is, where's next? Where does he next want to invade? You know, because the fundamental question, has he never learned anything from the history books? You know, so I actually think, God, I hate to say this, that the European countries, the what, 8 countries, need to team up and fight back at America and Donald Trump. Because I think this would be a categoric mistake for us to actually just say, yeah, well, you're going to give us 10% tariffs. You know, money's more important, and we'll let you invade Greenland. Don't worry about it. It's only Greenland. Nobody really cares about Greenland. Well, I'm sorry, but people do care about Greenland. Um, so even if it does mean that there's going to be some pain, I would suggest we'd have to fight fire with fire at the end of the day. You know, as the old saying, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And if he's going to stick 10% tariffs on us, why shouldn't we return in kind? No different to the Chinese did when he did it. You know, because somebody's got to teach him a lesson at the end of the day. Because he can't go around the world thinking he's in charge, he's the boss, and everybody does as Donald Trump bloody well feels. So what I'm going to say is, let me know what you think. What should we actually be doing as a country, okay, when it comes to this? Do you think that we should just fall in line and do what Sergeant Major Trump says at the end of the day? No, it's not Sergeant Major, but figure of speech. Um, or do we need to be a bit strong, be a senior power like we're supposed to be, and put Donald Trump in America in the bloody place for once, rather than doing whatever they demand us to actually do for them? So let us know in the comments down below. Okay. If you are new to the channel, please do give us a follow. Obviously, we have now launched this on podcast, so you can catch all the videos that we do on wherever you pick up your podcast, whether that's Apple, Spotify, wherever it may be. You can pick us up on there now as well. But for now, thanks for watching, and we'll speak to you again a bit later.